Hello, we are live. Are we on time? Yep, only 1 minute off. And I just need to get my earrings on. So, just running a scooch behind. Earrings make everything better. My grandma used to wear all the sparkliest stuff. And every time I saw her, she was like all shimmery with sequins and sparkles and jewels, and it always made me so happy. And she always wore pink lipstick, like the grandma kind of pink, and matching pink nails. And it was just such a happy kind of look that I have adopted it in honor of her. Of course, today's the day I can't get my earring on. Because sparkles and pink lipstick, I just felt like it was a really, really happy way to walk into a room. So now I do my own sparkles in honor of my grandma. And her name was Grandma June. So we always try and go a little sparkly, little pink in honor of Grandma June. Yeah. There we go. Okay, who we got in here? If you're not in the chat, I cannot see you, but I can show you. Let me see if this will show. My latest addition to the wall is, let me move that. This Tree of Life painting. Isn't that beautiful? There it is. So my wall is officially filling up. I have a painting of Bernie and then all my own paintings. And yeah, we're getting some art. Hi, Susan. Nice memories of Grandma June. Exactly. It matters, when people move through the world with sparkles and sequins and joy and pink lipstick, it adds up. So I just want to be one of those people. Oh, hi, Kim. You love it? You love the artwork? Yeah. This was just, I saw this on Amazon and I was like, yes, please. And if you look really closely, which you probably can't see from here, all the leaves that are in the air are shaped like hearts. And it's like a Tree of Life painting. And it's purple. So that's very exciting. Oh, you can tell, Kim? Yay! Okay, so how are you guys doing? Kim, Susan, how are you? Whoever else is in here, how are you? How was your week? How are you guys doing? How was the holidays? If you did stuff, if you didn't do stuff, was it chill? Was it relaxing? Was it stressful? Anybody having any stress eating situation going on? I used to stress eat like crazy. Stress eat and stress drink at Christmas. I was like, just always putting something in my mouth. So I get it. Didn't have any of that this year because I'm trying to give my body less to complain about other than just this surgery. Oh, Susan Duville's here. Hi, Susan. She says, Christmas was interesting. Nothing like a family get together to trigger you. Yeah. Oh man, I don't think I did Christmas sober for like 3 years in a row. Susan said holidays were fun, low key. Yeah, they were fun and low key, Susan, because you didn't have family, right? You didn't do family. Got invited to dinner with some neighbors and played cards for a few days. That's fun. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When it's family, it's so triggering. I find it just, you go right back to the old roles, just right back, like shockingly quickly that everybody just starts playing their family role again. How did it go for you, Susan? With the family triggers. Did you learn anything about yourself? Did you set any boundaries? Kim says I'm okay. It was good. My stepdaughter had a baby. Ooh. Oh, and she's still in the hospital. Oh, okay. Oh, she was in the hospital over Christmas, Kim. So patiently waiting on my family time. Um, oh, okay. So didn't have the time then because she was in the hospital. Yeah, congratulations on a step grandbaby or just grandbaby. That's awesome. Okay, so what did you do instead, Kim? Did you hang out with your dogs and your friends? I hope you hung out with somebody. I was in the ER on Christmas Eve, so that was fun. I got to hang out with the doctors. Um, yeah, it's always a weird time. It can go like when Christmas goes well, it's like amazing. And then the rest of the time you're just like, "Oh, that was pretty rough." Kim says, "Yep, me and dog and visits with friends." Okay, so was that nice, Kim, or did you find that stressful or triggering in its own way? Because I can totally understand where that would be um, sort of an emotional adventure, doing the family thing. Susan says, two Susans here. Oh yeah, you can call me Crazy Cats. I know I've been doing the elementary school teacher thing where we're like Susan D and Susan M. Uh, Susan, do you even have cats? Why are you called Crazy Cats? I don't even know why. I don't, if you have cats, I don't know why I don't know that yet. Kim says it was a little triggering. Oh, okay, because you were on your own. Oh, you used to have three cats, Susan, and you don't have cats anymore? Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay, well, Susan, I'm calling you Crazy Cats for the rest of the call just because it sounds fun to say. And Susan Duval, I will call you Susan. Um, yeah, that makes sense, Kim, that you would be uh working your way through that. How did you cope with that, Kim? Like the loneliness. Oh, Cheryl's here. Hi, Cheryl. Low key with hubby, son, and 3.5-year-old grandson, but still stress eating. Think I need a nervous system reset. Oh, yeah. Well, we can do that now if you want. Um, yeah, stress eating is just, I mean, particularly the holidays, right? So Susan D says, got triggered and was mad about it. The next day, I woke up mad and I couldn't just let it go and then spent time in the feeling and realized it is exactly the same situation from my childhood. Oh my God, isn't that the truth, guys? Like, it's just, yeah, and Kim's like, yeah, I was stress eating too. Um, Yeah, that's what it is. It's just the childhood stuff playing out over and over and feeling the same way. Okay, so the saga continues. Susan says, so I wrote a letter to get it out of myself and talked to my sister and then called my mom. Whoa, you did three things. Whoo, mama. That's a lot of moving through it, Susan. How did that go? I'm like on the edge of my seat here. Ooh, guys, don't forget to like the stream and hit the thumbs up. Oops, thumbs up button. uh because I always forget to tell you to do that. Susan says, and told her how I felt. It felt good. Okay. Yeah, Kim says, great job, Susan. Oh my God, such a great job. Hi, Wade. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Um, oh my god. Susan, you told your mom how you felt? That is yeah, very impressive. Wow. How did you feel? How did that go? Like, confronting parents is tricky. Like, at the best of times, tricky. Um, Wade, we're just talking about how our week was with Christmas, if you wanna jump in. Um, wow, okay, yeah, so writing a letter is amazing. That's a really solid, like, healing tool. Then telling somebody is, like, with them if you still need to, like, carry on the connection. Whoa, Susan says her mom cried and felt bad. That's awesome. I told her I loved her, but there was unfairness in my childhood, and it happened at our get together, and I deserve better. Oh my God, Susan, look at you standing up for yourself. It was, yeah, that's incredible. Susan, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. That is so hard to do. People underestimate how hard it is to go to, particularly anyone in family of origin, and say, "This hurt my feelings, and this is related to a pattern of behavior that's been going on for a long time, and I wanna talk about it." Like, that's really, really hard to do, and it's hard to receive as well, so the fact that she did cry and feel bad about it is amazing. She coulda gotten defensive and told you to, forget the past or whatever. Cheryl says, "Good for you, Susan." Susan says, "I know it was rough, but it felt good." Because because you're standing up for yourself, right? You're drawing that boundary. Uh, yeah, Crazy Cat's other Susan says, "That is setting boundaries." Exactly. That's drawing the way I try to describe it is like, this is you, right? Everything in this box is you, and everything outside of this box is other people. And so when we have bad boundaries, we're just like, where the line between where I am and other people are is really far away, or it's very fluid, or you can't see it. It's not clearly defined. But when you have good boundaries, it's like everything outside of this box is me, is someone else, and everything inside the box is me. And then it becomes much easier to say, does that infringe? Is somebody invading? Is somebody trying to change this? Is somebody trying to make this into something else? And that's why saying it's not I wouldn't say other Susan that it's like setting a boundary necessarily, but sharing how you feel is asserting that identity. And that's so powerful, and then from that place, if she wanted to, she could have set a boundary. She could have said, "And I don't want you to talk to me like that anymore." Um, so Susan says, "It showed me how far I had come, and hearing my little," yeah, hearing little Susan, "and I said I couldn't tell you when I was little, but I can now." How powerful is that? "So I'm sorry it hurts your heart, but it's been a burden for me." Oh my god, are you guys taking notes? Like, Susan, this is like a master class on, like, how to cope with the feeling. Like, you were triggered, you were mad about it, you woke up, it wasn't going away. So, you wrote the letter, you talked to your sister, you went to your mom and said and you spoke up for the burden of the little self who's been carrying this around all these years. That's incredible. I'm so happy. I I'm so I'm so happy. That is exactly, think about that. Everything she's saying, compassion for herself, right? Love for her little, knowing that it doesn't feel good. She's observing her body. Yeah, Kim says, "Wow." Yeah, like for real, wow. Because then she's meeting herself with compassion, then she's meeting her mom with compassion, saying like, you know, "I love you, and I know it hurts, but, like, this is important for healing." And, like, And Susan says, "I also cried a lot." Yeah, because you're finally being honest, right? You're finally, like, releasing this burden, and you're saying, "This is how it felt. This is what it was like to be me," and you're giving her an opportunity to relate to you, both as a child back then and as the adult now. And that ability to relate creates more intimacy, right? It takes so much vulnerability to do what you're doing, Susan. Like, so much vulnerability. That's incredible. That's incredible. Where did you guys leave it? Like, did did she acknowledge that there was unfairness? Did she see how the pattern is still playing out? Did she accept that it needs to change and she's gonna participate in that? Or was it just sharing feelings? Because sometimes it's just sharing feelings, and that also matters. Um, but, like, every step of that was, "It matters how I feel," and, um, "It matters how I feel. It matters, um, how I handle this. It matters that I am, like, you know, creating that identity." Um, she tried to make excuses, and I was having none of that, so I continued expressing my truth. Wow. Yeah, and that's a defense mechanism, right, Susan? She's, like, looking for a way to not be responsible for it, because being responsible for it would really hurt. Um, yeah, so then you just keep saying, like, "This was my experience," and that's what I love about this, is that, like, nobody can tell you what your experience was. Nobody can tell you what your truth was, and it gives you a place to go with that isn't just, "Oh, well, I shouldn't be upset because they told me I shouldn't be upset." Like, if you're upset, you probably have a good reason, and ignoring that is not helping anything. Susan said she then tried to say our family was dysfunctional. I love it when parents try to play that card. Well, all families are dysfunctional. It's like, yeah, that if they're all like that, then it doesn't matter, right? Susan said, "I said they all are, but this isn't okay." Yeah, exactly. We can still set that standard. We can still hold that line and be like, just because everyone else is doing it, or just because this is the way it's always been, doesn't mean we can't change it now. And, like, look at how much better it is when every member of the family is like a patchwork quilt, right? This is me, who I am, what I love, what I have to offer. This is you. This is the cousin. This is the aunt. This is right, and everybody is their own square, um, that has those boundaries and has those, um, emotions or needs or whatever, and that it's all separate, and then together it makes this beautiful patchwork quilt. But we don't need to give up our boundaries completely in order to be a part of it. I mean, unless it's really dysfunctional, and then you need to think about whether you wanna be a part of it. Susan said, "There was unfairness in my childhood," yeah, in everyone's, "and I couldn't talk about it, but I can now, as I've been carrying it for years, and what you did is wrong." Yeah, yeah, and that's compassionate, right? That's compassion to your past self, that's compassion to her. And it's like, it's not saying you're a bad person, it's just saying, like, "That wasn't okay. Can you accept that? Can you accept that it wasn't okay?" Doesn't matter what your intentions were, doesn't matter that that you didn't mean to, it doesn't matter that you wished it could be different, like, intention does not erase impact. So, the impact to you is the same whether it was intentional or whether there were other options or whatever, and that's all it is being a grown up, is just being like, "Oh, that's on me. I accept the impact that this had on you," instead of, um, "I have to make excuses for why this happened because I can't accept my behavior had impact." So Susan says, when I was done, I said to leave the call without knowing that I love you. And she cried and said she loved me too. That's beautiful. See, so much compassion, gentleness. It's not coming out swinging. It's not being like, well, you never did this for me, and this was always that, and you never, and it's not that. It's just, I love you, but I'm hurting. And I need you to understand how this has kept me hurting. And then Susan said, after it was over, I had a little guilt about it, but I don't want to. What can help? Okay. Beautiful question, Susan. That's amazing. So the guilt about it is a knee-jerk reaction. If anybody has stood up to anyone, you'll feel good in the moment, and then as soon as you're done, you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, I shouldn't have said that. I can't believe I said that. I can't da da da." And that is because your comfort zone is um when we're doing something we've never done before or something we don't often do, as we move into that space, there's like a hangover reflex that wants to contract back into safety, and that's your nervous system. So, um, your nervous system is always going to be like, this is normal, this is normal, this is normal, this is how this relationship goes. And then when you finally speak your truth and you put yourself out there and you're vulnerable, it's gonna snap back for a sec. Hi, Anthony. Welcome in. I am better. I got antibiotics in the ER on Christmas Eve, and and now it's starting to heal, but it's still an open wound, so I'm still being super careful. Um, Sorry, so Susan, so your nervous system kind of contracts back and wants to go back into the safety. So the guilt that you feel after that is just a knee-jerk nervous system reaction of like, come back to what's normal, come back to what feels safe. So what can help that is nervous system regulation. So having touch is like giving yourself the touch that like a mother gives her infant. If you can do it like on your own skin, like without a sweater on, you just run your fingers down your arms and it simulates the the neurotransmitters that a baby gets when their mom picks them up and holds them. Movement, uh, walk, dance, bounce, music, like calming music of just like, I am safe. This is my new normal. And the one of the most helpful things you can do is speak about yourself in the third person, because that helps separate um this thing. So you're like, Susan stood up for herself. Susan told her mom the truth. Susan speaks her truth now. This is Susan's new normal. And it just gives your brain like a bit of distance from it instead of I, because I can be like, oh no, I'm not ready for that identity. But it's like if you speak in the third person, your brain has a little gap, and you're just going to be like, Susan stands up for herself. Susan spoke her truth. Susan um Susan held her mom in love. Like, this is what Susans do now. Susans are not living like this anymore. Susans are stepping into this. This is safe. Susan is safe. And if you do that while you've got some, music, calm music, do your having touch, do a bit of rocking, right? Rocking helps. I can't really rock right now, guys, but all the nervous system stuff that we learn about, like with polyvagal theory, all of that stuff is going to just help your system to adjust to like, I expanded and then I'm scared again. And then as you do that, it softens up and then this becomes the new normal. and then you learn to hold it here, and you teach your body that this is safe, that it's safe to speak up for yourself, that it's safe to have those conversations, and then the next time you have to speak a bigger truth or a louder truth, same thing will happen, you're gonna expand more, and then you're gonna go back to here, and then you're gonna regulate it that way, but it's not gonna keep contracting back to the original. You're just gonna keep pushing that comfort zone, and it's like a pulse. It goes like this, and then back, and then this, and then not quite back, and then bigger, and then not quite, right? It's like a slowly expanding pulse that keeps coming in and out. Does that make sense, Susan? And also, do you have questions? And also try some of it on the call with us and let us know if it helps. Anthony, how was your week in EMS world? Save anybody's life? I bet you probably did. Okay, great. Yay. Yeah, try it now, Susan, and tell us if it helps the guilty feeling. Susan is safe now. Susan speaks her truth. Susan holds others in compassion. Susan did a good job. Wade says, I ain't got me nobody. I don't carry me no load. That sounds like song lyrics, but I don't know the song. Is that from a song, Wade? I don't know all the songs. But anyway, Susan, you kicked butt. That's like decades of healing in one conversation, just to be seen that way. And there's a lot of people who wish that they could have that kind of conversation with a parent and have it go that well. You know, a lot of parents will just like hang up on you. So let's hear it for Susan's mom. Woo! Good job, Susan's mom. Anthony, how were your holidays? Wade, how was your Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas? Did you guys get up to anything? Oh, did you find it? Other Susan, Wade's lyrics? What song is it? I knew it was from a song. I ain't got me nobody, I don't carry me no load. Also, Wade, I saw the videos by your house of like the sunset and the deer, and it looks beautiful if that's by your house. Susan says that's a lyric from Southern rock song Call Me the Breeze. Oh, famously covered by Leonard Skinner, expressing a carefree, wandering spirit, a person unburdened by commitments. Yes, Call Me the Breeze. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Uh, yeah. I don't know the song. Is it a good song, Wade? Is that a song you'd recommend? I don't know a lot of, well, maybe I do. Southern songs. I know whatever is in like pop culture, but I'm not like familiar with like Southern music specifically. Um, Anthony says very busy, big flu uptick in Ontario. Oh, yeah, in Nova Scotia, they've taken to all of the ERs now you have to wear masks the whole time. Like the second you walk in, you're putting a mask on, and they're like, it's just gonna be like this until spring because because it's flu season and we just want to minimize how sick people are making each other in the hospital. Um, people flu uptick. Do people call 911 for the flu, Anthony? Like if you're an EMS worker, like is that like you're getting calls because of the flu? I guess if it was like really bad flu. I mean, I'm grateful that I was in an ER and didn't get the flu on top of my surgery wound not healing very well. Um, so yeah, apparently I got what's called a pressure wound from the cast, and a chunk of my tissue died on my leg, and now there's a hole in my leg and it has to regrow, and that's why I'm in so much pain. So that was good information to have, and they were like, "We can't tell if it's infected or not, but just in case, here's antibiotics." And then ever since I started taking the antibiotics, it's been doing a lot better, and now the pain is more like every other day instead of, well, the last couple days, it's been like 1 day's bad, 1 day's good, 1 day's bad, 1 day's good, so that's an improvement from all the time being bad. And so, yeah, so now I have the cast off, Susan. I have an incision wound that is like this big, that has a chunk of tissue missing from it, and I have to kind of regrow. I think the ER doctor said I have to regrow like a layer of fat or something, and then skin on top of it. So that's why it's burning, and that's why it hurts. Anthony says the holidays are good. One more to go. Are you talking about New Year's, Anthony? You didn't tell me you didn't work the whole time. Did you have a break? Did you have some fun? Or did you have New Year's plans? Guys, I have no plans. Please someone have plans and go have a great New Year's and let me live vicariously through you. Please. All the people who can walk. Wade says, "Are you getting around pretty good on your crutches?" I was gonna do a whole video on it, but I can't really go anywhere. Like, I can get to the bathroom and back, but because it's an open wound and it's, like, bleeding all the time, um, and, like, the ER doctor was like, "Don't cover it, like, let it air out, and, like, don't put the boot on," so I can't really go anywhere, while it's all open and, like, bleeding all the time. So I'm trying to wait for the wound to close, so that I can put the boot on so that I can, start getting around. Does that make sense, Wade? So, like, I have crutches. Guys, I have everything now. I have crutches, I have a scooter, I have a peg leg, which I've never tried yet. I have a wheelchair, like, I have all these options, um, but with just this open bleeding wound, like, I just don't feel like I can put anything on it and wander around the world. So hopefully the wound will start to close and like by maybe end of the week. Maybe. I don't know how long it takes for skin to cover everything. But I will get you a video, Wade, as soon as I'm actually up and around on them. Anthony says, yes, they call 911 if they're very weak and can't get out of bed from the flu. Huh. Didn't know that. I assume that's mostly like elderly people, Anthony, or like immunocompromised people. Kim says fingers crossed. Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm hopeful. I'm trying to be super consistent with my meds, my vitamins. I'm eating super clean, like not a drop of anything that is sugar or flour or junk food or anything, like just trying to give my body like the best possible chance to heal it without any extra inflammation. But if you look at the incision, it's like a line and then there's just like a chunk in the middle that's like just not there anymore. so so that explains why it hurts. I think that makes sense. Wade says my favorite band is from Canada. Wade, who's your favorite band? Maybe I know them. I think all my favorite bands are from Canada, but um except Taylor Swift, she's not from Canada. She's not a band, but yeah. Um well, you can't just tease us like that, Wade. Now you have to say. Rush. Ah, are you a big Rush fan? That's awesome. The people who are into Rush are so into Rush. It's like a thing. Um, yeah, Anthony, I'm keeping it clean. dry. Um, I'm doing everything the ER docs told me to do. Uh, much as I hate touching it and washing it and soaping it and all of the things, I'm doing it. Um, but I can't imagine putting the boot on over it with how, like, open it is right now. So, one day I'll have new skin and new tissue, and then I will be able to go anywhere. Anywhere my scooter, peg leg, wheelchair, or crutches can take me. Um, Wade says, "I love them." You love Rush. That's awesome. I love it when people love stuff. Like, people are like, "Oh, I love that band," or, "Oh, I love this hobby," or, "Oh, I'm, like, super into this." I'm like, "Yeah," like, I love when people get excited about stuff. Love them, Wade. Love them out loud. Do you go to all their concerts too? Do you, like, travel around to see them? I've never seen them. I just know who they are. Um, yeah, so how else are we doing, folks, with the holidays, with the stress? Kim, how was the or Cheryl also, like, nervous system stuff? Um, Cheryl, do you want some help with the stress eating thing? 'Cause we can do that here too. And Kim, do you want any help with the stress eating? I find that the thing that happens is that you're like, "Okay, well, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, right?" But then there's all the leftovers. And then it's like a week after Christmas, and you're like, "Well, there's still a bit of cookies left, and there's still a bit of sweets and treats," and, like, there's all these things lying around all the time. Kim says, "I'd love to." Okay. Well, just tell me, like, what your thing is. Anthony says Rush is on tour next year. That's awesome. I love how you guys support each other. That's so cool. Yeah, you gotta go see them live. That's, like, what they're famous for, is their live show. Wade says, "You will be skating before you know it. I can see your passion to get back to normal." Thank you, Wade. That I am just I've been in bed for a month, and I really am so jealous of everyone with legs, and I just think about I'm, like, writing down all the skating things I can do, and I'm like, "Okay, when I get back on my skates, what routine will I do? How will I build this up? How will I, like, learn this new thing?" Like, I miss it so much, and thank you, Wade, that I'll be skating before you know it. I'm just dreaming of the day, and I'm, like, holding it. I'm just holding it right here. I'm like, "Everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be skating again." Um, so yeah, Kim or Cheryl, if you want any help with the stress eating stuff, then you just have to put in the chat, like, what's going on. Like, uh, like, are you upset and then you're eating, or are you eating because it's there? Is it like a volume game? Is it a specific thing that you're not able to resist? Like, what's the dynamic? And that will affect how we kind of tackle it. Don't forget to thumbs up the stream, guys, if you're in here and you're enjoying yourself. Um, Anthony says Rush getting a female drummer to join them. Oh, they are getting a female drummer to join them on the tour. Ooh. Um, yeah, and guys, go check out Wade's channel. He has all these videos of what I assume is, like, his back porch. And there's just, like, 6 deers sitting there chewing grass, or, like, there's, like, these beautiful sunsets. You're in Kentucky, right, Wade? Or no, you're not in Kentucky. You're in the middle. If I remember. You're in the middle of the US. I forget what state it is, but it looks beautiful. I have not seen outside in a while. I haven't been outside since Wednesday, and that was just to go to the ER, and I don't think that counts as much. But I haven't been outside for real in, like, a month, and I'm just very jealous of everyone who gets to be outside. I don't even get to see outside actually because of where I am. There isn't really a window I can see out of, so that's why I'm covering my whole room in paintings. Because this window behind me is so high that I can't see out of it unless I'm standing up. Um, Kim says, "Can't resist cookies, especially when stressed or anxious or lonely." Okay. All right, now we got something to work with here, Kim. Okay. Are we talking Christmas cookies? Um, because yeah, I've definitely been there. Yeah, Christmas cookies. Okay, so this is like, and do you hear the cookies calling your name where you're like thinking about the cookies when you're not in the kitchen and you're not where they are? I did remember. You are in Kentucky. Oh, yes. I get American states confused. I can't believe I remembered that. That's amazing. You're welcome, Wade. Thank you for putting up beautiful videos. Okay, so Kim, you're hearing the cookies call your name. Okay, so that's called food noise, and that is your body's way of trying to get your attention. So, Wade's like, "I feel you, Kim." Yeah, the cookies are calling Wade's name too. So food noise is when you're hanging out in your life and then you're like, remember those cookies I have in the kitchen? Ooh, how many of those cookies do I have left? Ooh, I'm thinking about those cookies. Maybe I'm gonna go eat those cookies." And you just go on this little train that's like going right back to the cookies, but it's not because they're in front of you, it's not because somebody's offering it to you. It's just you can't stop thinking about cookies and then you end up going and eating them, right? And then you're like, "Oh, I'm just stressed, bored, anxious, lonely," whatever it is, right? So the thing with food noise is that it's your body's way, yeah, so Kim gets it. So it's your body's way of trying to say, "Hello, we need help. We need help. Turn up the food noise. Turn up the volume." And what happens is you eat the cookies and then um the food noise goes down for a while and it kind of numbs you out and then the feeling subsides and then you feel better, but you don't actually feel better. You feel less worse, which is not the same thing. So, um when you hear the call of the cookies, that's how you know that you need to come back to yourself, that it's not about the cookies. That you say, "I'm gonna eat a cookie in a second." Okay, 100%. You do not go and be like, "We're not having any more cookies," because then you're gonna rebel, and then you're gonna eat all the cookies. And then you're gonna, like, get more cookies and eat all those too. So you're gonna say, "I'm gonna eat that cookie in a second." Kim says, "Yes, less worse is a good description." That's my term for it. I came up with that when I was trying to sort this out for myself, and I was like, "I don't feel better. I feel less worse." Um Yeah, so you come back to yourself and you say, "I will eat that cookie in a minute. What part of me needs me right now?" And you just put your hand on your skin and you just say, "What part of me needs me the most right now?" And you just listen because it's not about the cookies. It's not about the um it's not about that you got to eat it. It's about the oldest, most primitive thing that any of us have ever done since the moment we were born was put something sweet in our mouth, right? Put put food in your mouth. That's like a primal thing of like you'll calm down, right? Babies crying, feed them. So it's just what part of me needs me the most right now? What part of me needs a hug? What part of me is scared? What part of me doesn't feel good enough? What part of me is worried? And then you just go to that part and you're like, "Baby, you worried? You feeling lonely?" And that part will be like, "Think we should eat cookies about it." And then you'll be like, "Oh, well, we can have cookies when we feel better, but I want you to feel better first." And then you give that part the compassion that we were talking about with Susan, right? That gentleness. Wade says you should be a life coach. Thank you, Wade. I think I am a little bit of a life coach. I have clients that I help with this stuff. Um, so yeah, so you meet that part of you with compassion because when you go to the cookie instead of yourself, I mean, and still eat the cookie after, but at least you're not going to eat all the cookies after, because then you're just going to eat a cookie because it tastes good, and then you're going to put the rest back because you're not using them as a way to suppress and numb out the feelings. Um, but if you ever see a little kid crying and they're just bawling, they're just like, "Oh, I'm scared, I'm freaking out, I don't know what's going on." And you see the parent just shove a cookie in their mouth, and then what happens? 9 times out of 10, that little kid is gonna taste the sugar, their tears are gonna slow down, they're gonna they're gonna do those kinda like breathing, their breathing is gonna smooth out, and the taste of the sugar and the flour and the fat as it's dissolving in their mouth is going to start to be connected to, like, a come down response. Yeah, quit crying, exactly, from Kim, yeah, exactly. So what we're doing to ourselves when we feel stressed, bored, anxious, scared, lonely, whatever, when we go right to the cookies and just shove cookies in our face, we're doing the same thing to ourselves as that parent is doing to the kid. We're saying, "Shut up, quit crying, nobody cares. Your emotions are an inconvenience. Eat this cookie and make this go away." Right? And that's not compassion. That's not gentleness. That's not meeting yourself at all. That's just saying you shouldn't feel this. And somebody taught you that you can't hold your emotions. Somebody taught you that it's not safe to feel those feelings. So that's why we go to food or we go to alcohol or we go to shopping or scrolling or porn or we go to whatever we go to, right? Because we don't know how to sit with that discomfort. And that's because no one ever created safety for us in sitting with that discomfort. And so the feelings feel really big to little kids. They're big feelings in a little body and they need co-regulation. They need somebody else to help them hold the feeling and to show them that the feelings are safe and that it's not going to hurt them. And if nobody ever showed you that and they just put a cookie in your mouth, then when you grow up and you feel an emotion, you're going to be like, well, I can't just hold it. I got to go eat all the cookies about it. So, how do you feel about that, Kim? How do you feel about like just hand on the chest next time you want a cookie and just being like, what part of me needs me the most right now? And just letting that come up. Wade says you're really wise. Thank you, Wade. My God, you're so sweet. Thank you, Wade. I have learned all this the very hard way, if I can if I can clarify. This was absolutely it took me 20 years to figure this all out the very hardest way possible. Um, so, um, so that's kind of all it is, and that's just if I'm honest, that's just being a person, right? That you're being a person and you're like, "Hmm, this person, what does this person need right now?" And if it's too hard for you, go to the third person again. What does Helmy need right now? What part of Helmy needs Helmy the most right now? Right? What part of Kim needs a cookie? And how can I meet that that part with compassion? Like, it's just nobody teaches us how to be a person. Um, Kim says, "Makes perfect sense, should have probably known by now, but had some issues getting there." No, Kim, there's no should have known by now. Mm-mm. No, no, that's just shame. Don't worry about that. There's no should have. Everybody is right where they are, which is right where you need to be, right? There's no pressure on that. Cheryl. Ooh, Cheryl's back. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl says, unlike Susan, I no longer talk to my mom. She fractured the family after my dad passed 13 years ago on December 22nd, or December 22nd. Okay. So I no longer do holidays with her and my sisters. Okay. Yes, a lot of people are in your position, Cheryl. A lot of people. Wade says how to pronounce your name. Are you talking about my name, Wade, or somebody else's name? My name is Helmy. Um, so Cheryl, does that mean holidays are like very chill for you because you don't talk to her and your sisters and you just have very calm, like peaceful holidays? Or do you not talk to them and not see them on holidays and then you feel stress or feel bad or you feel guilty about that? Because some people have walked away from their families of origin and they feel good about it, and other people have walked away and um, they still struggle with it. So I guess it depends which one you are, Cheryl. And you were saying about the stress eating because you said you had um, a chill Christmas with your family, hubby, son, and grandson. But then you said you're still stress eating. So like, is it stress eating to do with, I mean, this is the thing with stress eating is it's always like, what can you observe in yourself? What is it connected to? What what is the trigger for it? Cheryl says too painful to get together and feel stressed about it. Okay, so you're not feeling peace, Cheryl, you're feeling stressed? Okay. So then I would say, what's the stress? Do you feel like they're all hanging out without you and that makes you feel bad, abandoned, betrayed, neglected? Um, like if it's too painful to get together, why do you also feel stressed about it? What Wade says, "What a great live. So many perspectives." Oh my God, let's hear it for Wade. Is he not like just so supportive and like generous and sweet? Isn't that like a person you want to like have cheering you on in your life? Like, thank you, Wade. See, I love this. I love when people are like, everyone is awesome. Like, let's hold space for everybody. That makes me so happy, Wade. Thank you for being here. Because yeah, the stress is like that there's something wrong, there's something missing, there's some judgment, there's some shame, there's some fear. And what I found is that in that situation, it's like, what do I need in order to feel like I'm enough right now? Not being at Christmas dinner, not being there. Like, why my stress is that I feel like I'm not enough. What would make me feel like I'm enough? How am I depriving myself of the experience of being enough? You know what I mean? Um, so Cheryl, you're totally entitled to not talk to your mom. Like that's you've made a really conscious choice that sounds like it was very painful for you based on her behavior and based on the way that this all went down. So like you're totally entitled to that. You're allowed to say this doesn't feel good because circling back, it matters how I feel, right? We don't want to just eat a cookie about it. We want to honor, like, it matters how I feel. And so it mattered to you, Cheryl, how you felt. And then you didn't You're not hanging out with them at Christmas. You're hanging out with your family, your husband and your son and grandson. But then, like, what's the stress then? Because you're safe with the people that you've chosen. So there's something about the people that you've walked away from that is, again, like what Susan said originally, it's some kind of childhood thing that's being reenacted, right? Maybe when you were a kid, it was always you on the outs and your sisters and your mom were on the other team and you felt like you were against them, or you felt like they didn't want you there, or you felt like you were not included or whatever, right? Like there's some kind of thing that's still playing out from your childhood if you're feeling stressed about that and stress eating now. Susan says, my family get togethers have so many undertones and issues. It's interesting how I can see where the feelings come from now. Yeah, Susan. When I really feel it, little Susan shows me what it's related to. Yeah, and this is why I teach so much inner child work. The basis of everything, the first thing I will teach anybody is inner child work, because and it's not even inner child work. That's like not the right word for it. It's inner child reconnection, because that little self is in there and she's got her assumptions and she's got her belief systems and she's got her behaviors that she thinks are helping. And until we connect with her, you know, you just don't realize that you've got a 5-year-old driving the bus. So, Susan, I love that you can appreciate how she's, tugging on your dress, being like, listen, this is that thing mom does. This doesn't feel good. I don't like this. Right? And Susan's right. Every family get together has so many undertones and issues, right? This is just what families are like. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just seeing, again, what Susan said. I can see where the feelings come from now, that capacity to observe yourself, observe how you get sucked into the dynamic, observe how you get triggered, observe the feelings that are coming up that you don't like, observe the way everybody else is treating each other that's normalized in that environment, and then go back to yourself, because it matters how I feel. It absolutely matters how I feel. And if I'm in a situation and I feel bad, or I feel unsafe, or I feel scared, that is not a thing to just eat cookies about. That's a thing to say, what part of me needs me the most right now? Am I betraying myself? Am I walking away from my boundaries? Am I letting other people tell me where that line is instead of holding my own line? Like, and your littles will tell you, right, Susan? Susan says, I still have a delay in talking to her. It takes me about a day. I'd like it to be faster. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's normal. That'll improve. Yeah. Me and Lil Helm, it's like boom. Her voice is just like right there in my head the second I uh whatever happens. She's so funny. She's always making jokes, and her jokes are like really funny and a little bit mean, and I'm always like hearing this in my head laughing. So yeah, Susan, you will get less of a delay the more you deal with the underlying barriers between you. Cheryl. Okay, so Cheryl says, I miss seeing everyone, but she would never admit any wrongdoing. Being there would be too stressful. Not being there brings up guilt because family was always so important. Okay. Yeah, and Wade says sometimes we have to put our differences aside. Yeah, sometimes we do, Wade. Definitely. Sometimes we do. And everybody gets to decide, when it's one of those times. So, yeah, so the mom never admitting any wrongdoing is sort of, I'm assuming that, like, that's just par for the course, right? This isn't really about mom. This is about how you feel. So, not being there brings up guilt because family was so important. That sounds like your mom used to use that as a guilt trip to you to control you or to coerce your behavior into, like, don't call me on my behavior. You need to fall in line with what I'm saying because family is so important. So that's exactly what Susan said earlier, that it's a childhood thing playing out. So you've still got this belief system in your brain that family of origin is so important, and I'm therefore not being a good person, or I'm not living up to that value by not being there. And that is the part of you that needs a hug, right? Because family is so important. But family of origin is not the only family there is, and is not the only way to do that, right? So, Cheryl, if you find that you're stress eating because you're not there, like, first of all, you've done the hardest part. The hardest part is, like, creating that divide and saying, "I'm not going, I'm not putting myself through that." But then when they're not there, you're still putting yourself through that because you're still allowing that messaging to come through to say, "You're not a good daughter, you're not a good sister." Um, and so then what ends up happening is that you are just doing to yourself, Cheryl, what they would have done to you if you had gone. And that's because on some level you feel you deserve it. So you can just go to the part of you that feels like you deserve to feel bad and give her a hug and say, "I'm here for you. I love you. I'm protecting you by not walking into that environment. I think you're good enough. I think the family that you've chosen is the family that is important, and I release you from this burden of feeling guilty for not participating in a dynamic that hurts." So the way I like to think of it, Cheryl, is the family of origin, the way you're describing it, is hugging the cactus. And you love the cactus, and you grew up with the cactus, and the cactus is all you know, and the cactus is covered in broken glass all over it, on top of the needles. And you're like, "I love you, cactus. I've only ever known you. I love you so much, and I want to be connected to you." And you go to the cactus and you try to hug it, and what happens? The needles, the broken glass, they puncture the softness of you, and you end up bleeding. And you say, "But I love you, cactus. I want to be around you, but I'm bleeding, but it hurts." And the cactus says, "This is what it is to love me." And then you have to decide, do you want to go and put yourself through what it's going to cost you to be full of these emotional wounds when you leave? Or is it better to love the cactus from a distance and to not actually put your arms around it and to just appreciate it from a certain space? And you get to decide that. You get to hold that space for yourself, create that place of grace for yourself. And you get to decide if you need to feel guilty, you know? Personally, I operate on a no regrets model. I don't do things that I will regret doing and then I don't feel guilty, because I make measured decisions based on what is in my best interest and in the best interest of everyone around me. And then I do that and then I move forward, and I don't feel guilty because I made the I made the right choice for me. So if you are guilt tripping yourself and then stress eating cookies about it, like, you have a choice in how you punish yourself. You don't have to punish yourself just because 'cause they're not there to punish you. The cactus is not trying to hurt you, the cactus is what it is, and that's what it's gonna feel like to hug it. You don't have to keep stabbing yourself with broken glass and cactus needles when it's not there, just for it to feel familiar. You can just hold it in your heart and love it from that place. Does that make sense, Cheryl? I hope that makes sense. So guilt, shame, those two emotions, they never got anybody anywhere. They keep you stuck. Guilt, if you did something bad, you should feel bad. Like you should be like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry I yelled at you. I'm sorry I said that." Like, the guilt, if it moves you to action, if it moves you to repair, then that's fine. But shame is never going to get you anywhere because shame is just feeling bad for being bad. And and the guilt is only going to help if it moves you to take action. If it's just guilt for the pattern's sake, it's not going to, right? You guys don't deserve this. You don't deserve to just feel guilty and feel bad. You deserve to feel fulfilled and strong and at peace. Thank you. Susan says, great analogy. Thank you. Wade says, the spaces in between leave room for you and I to grow. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with the cactus. The cactus is not bad. The cactus is just a cactus. That's just all it's going to be. Don't get mad at it for not being like a big willow tree that's all lush and comforting and provides all this shade, right? The cactus is just what it is. We have to accept it. And like Wade says, the spaces in between where we create that space, then you get to decide, what are you? Are you a cactus? Are you a willow tree? Are you a flower? You're never going to find out what you are when you're still hugging a cactus and saying, ow, it hurts. And I feel bad. Does that make sense? Cheryl says, I made the right choice. I know that, but I'm stuck with the guilt. I'm trying to let it go. Okay. Yeah, so Cheryl, letting it go is same thing I said to Susan. Is that another Rush lyric? Wait, I love it. So apt. So apt. Um is is nervous system, right? If you know you made the right choice, but you're stuck with the guilt, then the guilt is part of this comfort zone. So we need to break out of that. So that's, Cheryl is safe now. Cheryl made the right choice. Cheryl is doesn't deserve to feel guilty. Cheryl deserves to feel peaceful. Cheryl deserves to feel happy. Cheryl's doing a great job. Cheryl doesn't need to feel guilty anymore. Cheryl's stepping into a timeline where these are just all memories. Cheryl is enough. Just by herself. Just help your body through it. You can't let go from the guilt here. The guilt lives in your body, Cheryl. So you need to be able to hold your body, help your body to release it. It's not you trying to release the guilt. It's your body saying, "But I'm doing something wrong. But I'm bad. But I'm going to be punished. But I deserve to be punished." And those are just childhood messages that you can help yourself release, right? Nervous system work is really powerful there. Wade says, let it go, Cheryl. Yeah, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. Um, so yeah, this is what I teach. I teach inner child reconnection. I teach nervous system regulation and um and I teach ways for women to connect to themselves and to each other without food, without stress eating. Um, Other Susan, Crazy Cat Susan says Cheryl can choose peace. It feels uncomfortable at first because it is different and a change, but it will start to feel normal, peace and joy. Yeah, it if you stay with the guilt because you've always had the guilt, Cheryl, then it'll just stay with the guilt. But if you support yourself in releasing it, then yeah, Susan's right. It's what I said at the beginning. It'll expand into the new normal and you just won't have the guilt anymore. Wow, what a great live, everybody. And look, I made it an hour 10. This is the longest one I've been able to do in a month. Yay! Go team. Thank you everyone for coming. And Cheryl, we're right here if you want to come back next week. Wade says crazy has some good advice. She does. She has amazing advice. Yeah, you guys are all brilliant. So Cheryl, I hope you feel supported. I hope you feel that like there's a way that you can like help your body to release it because it's just stuck in your body. Susan, Crazy Cat Susan says, LOL, learned it from Helmy. Well, you know what? Now you can teach other people. There you go. Oh, Cheryl says, thanks, everyone. Yay, Cheryl. Okay, well, we've got you. We care. We want you to feel better. We don't want you to feel guilty. Try some of the same stuff I'm telling Susan. Try letting it go from your body. Try this happening touch. Try third person. Try rocking. Try, visualizing that guilt as part of a young you dynamic that you're like, I'm stepping in. We're not going to do this to ourselves anymore. We're not going to punish ourselves anymore. Kim says, thank you, Helmy. As always, I appreciate your guidance. Such a great teacher. Thank you, Kim. Yay. Wade says, more lives, please. I can use the support. Yay. Wade, you're always welcome. You're such a great cheerleader. Yes, please come ask for support. Get your support, get your questions answered as much as I can with whatever I've learned the hard way by now. I'm happy to happy to share. Go team. Okay, so I will see you all next Sunday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Don't forget to like the stream if you haven't already. And yeah, let's just connect and support each other and hear like the things that we're all going through. Susan says, sending you healing thoughts. Please rest. Thank you. Yes, I'm just about to go rest, Susan. So I will see you guys next week. And thank you so much for coming tonight. You're the best. And whoever's on the replay, hi, future people. We also care about you. Okay, bye.